This is Jordan Edwards, and this is my final presentation for Mobile Application Development 2 on our final project for the course. So, first, what did I choose? So, I developed a video game completion tracking app. It's basically I built this off of the Master Detail app in that we worked on in class. Just kind of retweaked a couple things. I feel like we spent a lot of time on that, so I just kind of wanted to build on that and kind of check it for video games. Just I spend a lot of time playing games, and it's good to track how much time you're spending doing them, for better or for worse. So that's what I wanted to do for my app. So I will go ahead and run it here. So basically how it works is kind of similar to our past detail apps. So it's just going to list right here on our first view the list of the games that you've included. So you can see here I've got 5 preloaded here. I've got Sifu, Elden Ring, Halo Infinite, Metroid Dread, and Inscription. Similar to our past app, we can add a new one, which I'll demonstrate in just a second. If we want to go ahead and edit this here, though, we can tweak the order, get rid of them if we want to. I'm going to go ahead and keep these for now. But I'll just dive into Metroid Dread here, since that's where my mouse is. So we got our save and cancel buttons here up at the top. We have a logo corresponding to the console that we played the game on, which I'll explain more about in just a second. But just some simple fields. First, the game title. We got the genre of action here. We've got hours played for this particular one. It'll be 13. I went ahead and added a picker down here that has all the different consoles that you can choose from. These are preloaded into an array in the view controller, but right now I just have these 4: PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. You could obviously add more if you wanted to. So, but essentially what you can do, you'll pick the console that the game corresponds to when you add it, and if you hit the set console logo button, it'll change that. We've got all these different images added as assets into the project, but so you can do that. PlayStation here. If I had an Xbox here, I could just pick that, and then just for PC games, we've got that. But this is a Nintendo Switch game, so I'll go ahead and set that again. And then down at the bottom here, you'll see this game completed option. So if we save this and go back, you'll notice the check mark over here on the main view. So if a game is completed, you'll see this check mark here. If we have not yet beaten it, then that row will be blank over here at the end. So we can jump back to Elden Ring, for example, which I spent way too much time on. So I can go ahead and mark that as completed and save. And now I've got my check mark there. So another thing we can do is we can go ahead and add a new one. So if I add a new game, it just comes pre-filled with these different values. So I'm going to go ahead and add a game. So Sleeper. Can I spell? This is one that comes out tomorrow that I plan on spending some time with. The genre is going to be RPG. Hours played currently is just going to be 0. And that's a PC game. So I'm going to pick this here. Hit my button to add my logo, and then it has not yet been completed. So I'll go ahead and save that. It's pretty simple. So we've got that up here, and again, if I want to change this, I can. And since we haven't actually started this yet, I'll just go ahead and remove this one. So again, this is built on persistent storage. Generates a JSON file. So for instance, I will just, I'll go ahead and just get rid of one of these. Get rid of Sifu for now. Done editing. And so what I'll do, go home, just click the button, and then go to my app switcher, drop out of here. So we got that. If I go back and run again, you can see I still have my changes. So that persistent storage is working exactly how we want it to. So that's the basics of the app. Very straightforward, but something that I could definitely use for myself. As far as challenges being made, no serious challenges. I did just the biggest thing I probably ran into was figuring out a good way to implement a picker. I knew that's something that I wanted to include somewhere in the app, and so just making sure that you can pull the correct information from the correct selection in the picker was probably the trickiest part. If I were to change anything about this application, one thing what I'd like to do is have this work with an API. So if I were to come in here, just have some functionality where I can generate some data about the game from through an API. So if I search for a title, maybe pull the genre, pull the console, I probably filled this out with some more information here. Another thing I'd like to do is add an achievement tracker into this. So maybe have another selection in this view that shifts us over to another view for each game where we basically store all the different achievements. Because if you're familiar with video games, most games these days have several different achievements or trophies, whatever you want to call them, to track with each game. So just something that kind of you can go look at your achievement list and then really have it similar to this, where we've got the information about the achievement listed on that view and just have another check mark that you can mark to kind of keep track of them as you go along with the game. But that's my demonstration. Like I said, still plenty of stuff we can add to this. I know that I'll be kind of working on it as a side project to see what else we can build out. But that's my demonstration. Thank you for watching.